Oshkosh Media is government programming on GovTV, community programming on Life TV, and community radio on Oshkosh FM 101.9.
Good evening. I'm Mayor Lori Palmeri, and on behalf of the Oshkosh Common Council, City Manager Mark Rohloff, and the city staff, welcome to the 2021 Oshkosh State of the City. We're so grateful to you for sharing your time in our virtual format this year to learn more about the exciting things that are going on in the city of Oshkosh and what the future holds. How we can continue working together to recover, rebuild, and rediscover the city of Oshkosh and each other. After a soul-crushing pandemic detour in which we grieved those we lost, sacrifices made, we're confident Oshkosh is healing, coming out of this experience as an even greater place to live, work, play, and learn. We may not be in the same room tonight, but we are still together, moving forward into a stronger, more resilient Oshkosh. In celebration of the city of Oshkosh, we have an exciting program planned for you this evening. The State of the City is more than just an annual event to showcase our activities, projects, and future goals. It's an opportunity for everyone to celebrate our collective efforts at the local government level. We're also highlighting what's yet to come. We recognize that everyone plays an important role in this process as citizens, community leaders, city employees, government officials, elected officials, volunteers, board and commission members, all are assets of our abundant community. In a moment, we'll hear from our Common Council members as they introduce some outstanding groups that have furthered city initiatives with significant efforts. The work of these groups will be profiled later in the Community Partner Awards. We thank our council members for their hard work and dedication the past 12 months on behalf of the citizens of Oshkosh. And of course, we'd like to thank you, our friends and neighbors, for joining us tonight and for caring about and helping one another through a disruptive and difficult year. Much gratitude goes to those everyday heroes that pitched in and went beyond the social contract to lift others up. We may not have been at our most shining moment at times, but the polish of the grit from 2020 brought out our luster. Without your participation and continued support, there would be no State of the City program. So it means a great deal to all of us that you chose to join us in this virtual format to be involved and take part in your community's exciting future. We have a great evening planned. In just a moment, City Manager Mark Rohloff will deliver his 2021 State of the City address. Following his presentation, we'll take time to recognize some of our organizations with our Community Partner Awards for their work on projects that have had a significant positive impact on Oshkosh. Then, we'll honor several great citizen volunteers with our Citizen Service Awards for their ongoing efforts in serving on our various boards and commissions. We'll also be recognizing some others that have made contributions towards making Oshkosh a better place. On a final note, I want to stress again that for our city to work effectively, we need active citizen participation. Please consider serving on a board or commission and don't hesitate to talk to city staff, council members, or current board and commission members about how to get involved. Thank you again, and please enjoy tonight's State of the City virtual event. I would now like to welcome City Manager Mark Rohloff for his State of the City address.
Thank you, Mayor Palmeri. Well, 2020 wasn't the year we expected. Of course, we all faced challenges, and the city and our employees did too. The city of Oshkosh continued working through it all, and a lot happens behind the scenes that I want to talk to you about today. Employees have a great deal of pride in their work, and of course, collaboration has enhanced our efforts and is stronger than ever. So we've got a lot of planning for the future that's underway. We have exciting things ahead of us that I want to talk to you about today. So challenges. We certainly overcame many obstacles in 2020, some unlike anything we've ever seen before. But I do want to take you back a little bit because 2020 actually started out for us with a ransomware attack in late January 2020, and then that moved to a global pandemic that we all faced. But we all had to adapt. But I'm happy to tell you that we rose to the occasion, and city staff found some incredibly innovative ways to overcome all the obstacles that we faced.
We got new driver barriers. If you imagine that a driver during peak season can come in contact with over 230, 250 people a day, just reducing that much of direct contact, imagine the spread that can occur.
Most of my poll workers are of the retirement age, and they certainly did have concerns. In the April election, we did see a decline in the workers, so Mr. Rohloff really encouraged our city employees to assist in that election, but they did come back after they saw that we were providing masks and gloves and the barriers.
Our poll workers, our election inspectors, our staff, they kind of all came together, and even some people from different departments, they worked extra, they worked nights, they worked weekends to do whatever they could to get us through the election.
Well, we had a lot of challenges. We overcame every one of them. But for one, we had scheduled Titanic for 2020. And ending a big exhibition like that is not as simple as just picking up the phone and saying, hey, we're not doing Titanic this year. We really want to be here to serve people. And so we served them online, we served them virtually, we handled an awful lot of emails. But we all miss that face-to-face interaction.
There's a lot of added stress, particularly early on when we didn't know exactly how the disease was spread and how could we prevent it, and were we taking a risk on every patient contact that maybe we could contract COVID. And what our goal really was to make sure that all of our community was safe, that everybody was going to be safe and protected and cared for.
This is a very unique time that we're in, and we have to be responsive to our employees in order to help them be effective, especially during this pandemic time.
Anytime we're dealing with a health pandemic, safe drinking water is first and foremost critical importance. One of the biggest things that we worked on planning for is making sure that we had enough staff availability to keep the water filtration plant and the wastewater treatment plant fully operational at all times.
The city back in 2008, 2009 actually did a number of exercises planning for a potential pandemic. And so when this all hit, I was able to go to my file from those exercises. We did a bunch of COVID roundtables weekly for almost 2 months so that we could talk to each other about what other plants were doing, what things were going on, how we could assist each other.
Let alone all that, we have our emergency water main breaks that come in, water service leaks. I do give our guys the utmost respect. They are very dedicated. They come in, they're on call 24/7, 365 days a year. No matter what it's like outside, somebody calls, there's water coming up in the middle of the road, we call in a crew, we get it dug, we get it fixed.
We had a phishing email come in, and an end user fell victim to that phishing email, which actually launched a internal attack against our network and eventually led to a ransomware attack that brought our entire system, all computers and all servers down.
As an IT person, you don't want to go through that or see that happen. Because I think I was the first one actually here, because Tony was a little bit further away. And I was looking at all the servers, and then I started seeing the signs of the ransomware. It was just, oh no. and I didn't want to be the one to tell Tony.
Initially, there was shock. It was a difficult concept to wrap your heads around because you often hear about it happening everywhere, but you never think it's going to hit that close to home. So shock was probably the first reaction, and then we all immediately rolled into disaster recovery mode.
And we stayed late into the night most days once we got everything back up, and then at the same time we're trying to strengthen our security to the point where if this does happen again, how do we stop it more effectively?
The city's IT staff is a top-notch crew that the ransomware attack was a perfect example of how they threw away what their job responsibilities were and came together for the greater good to accomplish an end goal and get it done as quickly as possible. We recovered in a fraction of what the industry standard considers recovery time.
So some of the things you heard were about adapting, overcoming obstacles, innovation, and of course, rising to the occasion. That describes so many of our employees, but you heard a lot towards the end of that segment from our information technology division. We lovingly call them IT. And with their contribution to overcoming the ransomware attack and then adapting us to get us to virtual meetings and virtual meetings both with the public for council meetings as well as internal staff meetings. I annually recognize an Employee of the Year. What I've done is recognize the entire Information Technology Division as our 2020 Employee of the Year. You don't always see those people. I wanted you to hear from them to know exactly what they did and how they helped us overcome so many obstacles and truly rise to the occasion. So congratulations to our IT division for their dedication to their work. So, you know, that brings up the whole issue about behind the scenes work that our staff does. And obviously that involves teamwork from all our employees to get the job done. A lot of people that you don't see because it's done behind the scenes. There's such a diverse range of work that the city does. You know, you think of police and fire and maybe public works, but there are many people working behind the scenes to make it all happen. And I want to tell you about some of those people.
We're probably one of the best kept secrets in the community. Once you open a faucet, it goes down the drain and disappears. So you don't see all the things that go on behind the scenes.
So we've got people working all throughout the day to make sure that the buses are maintained. If you think about it, you've got a preventive maintenance schedule. We're constantly trying to keep our equipment in the best possible shape to keep riders safe.
Our senior center, I found out, I had no idea before I started working here, but I found out how much they do during normal times before COVID and hopefully after COVID. Just the vast array of programs. I was amazed. I had no idea. All of those programs will just be increasing and hopefully getting back to where we were before. So many different opportunities for our seniors.
You know, the underground infrastructure, you know, we've got staff, not only wastewater staff, but here at Streets Division as well, you know, taking care of those systems, televising, cleaning, you know, making sure those systems are conveying waste away. You know, at water filtration plant, you know, those staff are working around the clock, making sure that the water leaving the plant is safe and meets all of our regulatory standards. The water distribution staff are out all the time. You know, anytime there's a water main break, those staff are going out to fix it.
I think the guys do a great job of making sure you can walk over to any kitchen tap, any faucet, and turn it on and have safe drinking water right at the tip of your fingers. People don't quite understand or grasp how much actually does go on behind the scenes. I mean, on any given time, we have all 15 guys here maintaining, doing something, touching something in the system at all times.
I think the voter goes to the polls to vote and, you know, they're in and out. They don't realize what in advance takes place.
It's funny because when the people help in the office, they're always like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize how much you guys did, or all the work that goes into the election and all the prep work. There's a lot of detail and time that we spend.
Even after the polls close, You know, we just don't box everything up.
We are kind of that mystery behind the curtain that nobody really knows what goes on. They just care about the end results and that they could turn the computer on and everything works.
I think for most people, they just assume it's magic. And then they realize we can't really effectively work without us in the background, just kind of making sure everything's smooth.
When we look at our collections here, we know that those objects have great meaning for the people of Oshkosh. They have a significance that goes beyond its value as simply an object itself. So when we see objects from Chief Oshkosh, we know that that tells a story of our community and our people and how we got to be where we are today.
We are a different model of police department than many agencies. We are more of a proactive department instead of a reactive department. We subscribe to a team policing model where our officers are assigned to specific reporting areas and specific districts, and we ensure that the officers know their community that they patrol and that the community knows them.
We've seen an increase in our call volume. You know, for the first time in our history, I believe, we broke 9,000 incident responses last year. You know, and they've gone on every one of them. They've risen to the occasion. You know, and whether it be for COVID or, you know, all the other things we still have to attend to, you know, water rescues and fires and hazardous material responses. You know, we're starting to see a need in other areas, whether it be homelessness, mental health response, suicide prevention, fall prevention. You know, we need to be a good partner to the community, you know, and to our constituents of what are the needs and how can we help to address those.
You heard a lot about pride in work there, and I consider these employees our unsung heroes. There are so many of our employees who are passionate about the work they do. It's something that I like to talk about with everybody as what I call +1 service. Doing that one extra thing that they can do to demonstrate that they're willing to go just one little step more to provide top-notch service to the public, the citizens of Oshkosh. And there are many employees who make sacrifices every day to serve the public. They truly are our unsung heroes, and they absolutely come for us every day. And I'm so proud of the pride that they put in to the work that they do.
One of the things I'm most proud of is when I get told from the residents that our guys have done a great job.
Every staff member here does things that go above and beyond what we normally would consider to be our job description, but we do it because we love it.
The most rewarding aspects of my job are helping the community, helping those in need.
I like being able to see a smile on somebody's face because we were able to hopefully solve this issue, whatever that might be that they're dealing with.
I'm most proud of the IT team. I've been a member of the City of Oshkosh employee team for 22 years now, and I still enjoy coming to work every day, and I think it's a fantastic place to work.
We have wonderful staff here, wonderful people that do a tremendous job, and I'm really proud of the way they all work together in order to meet our common goal of providing safe drinking water and protecting public health.
I can't even describe how thankful I am and how proud I am of everything all of the staff have been doing throughout this time. Everybody's had to step up in their own way, and they have done so tremendously.
My poll workers, I'm really proud of them. They have really helped. We had a mammoth amount of absentees going out for the November and just willing to come in and help.
When this first started a year ago, a lot of our drivers were scared like everybody else. Our drivers were there through the thick and thin of it, didn't miss a single run and didn't miss a single day of service. So we're very proud of that.
We're a 24/7 operation, 365, but you get somebody that's going to give it their all, 24/7, 365. I think everybody should be proud of our firefighters. You know, we have the best of the best that do a great job every day, that risk their lives, risk their health, risk their sanity to go out and provide care.
Together, we can accomplish so much more, and I hope that that segment demonstrates the spirit of teamwork that we have at the city, and it's all about serving the public. But the partnerships, they certainly help us progress, but it's deeper than just our employees working together. And I so value the partnerships that we have, the collaboration that takes place between our city departments and working with our community on collaborations that have proven to be very successful.
There were various departments in our organization that do not handle elections. They came to our office and they learned the various processes and helped us with the election process.
We had parks, we had library, museum, staff that I've never met, and I've been here almost 20 years. So it was just neat to have that collaboration, all the departments come together.
Staff from all across the organization came together to help the clerk's office. During some of those elections, I had several public works staff working at the polls. It's the way we've all come together to help each other out to get through this.
City departments were tremendous in not only initiating their own manual processes to allow us to do our recovery efforts the way we need to do them, but they also offered any ancillary support we would need.
They need the computers for their day-to-day job, so it was a lot of collaboration with them to make sure that they can get to a base level and we can kind of restore everything back to their specific needs.
Through our Community Development Block Grant program, a certain percentage of the funds are allocated to public service agencies that provide services to people in need in the community and low to moderate income individuals. And homelessness, so of course Day by Day does receive some funding under that as well.
The Oshkosh Fire Department actually provided us all of our PPE, and so Chief Stanley and I met and we made a list of all the PPE that we were going to need to open the shelter safely.
I definitely think homelessness is an issue we need to address because it goes beyond just those that are seeking shelter in father cars or Day by Day. We need to really identify how many of our population are homeless. We need to be a good partner to the community and to our constituents. What are the needs and how can we help to address those? Because we certainly want to prevent your house from catching on fire, but we want to help prevent you from dying of a heart attack or dying in an accident because you didn't have your seatbelt on, or any number of things. So that community outreach and that collaboration is crucial.
We have the Community Foundation who regularly, if I have a need and it's something that can't be supported through the budget, I can go to the foundation and they readily will provide the resources that we need to implement whatever program that's going to be beneficial to the community. We do outreach with Rodney's Cafe, and Rodney will help support our community closet. Rodney came and he actually fed our police officers during some cultural diversity training that we were working through earlier this year.
He came in and we sat and we talked for almost 2 hours, and it was very, very enlightening. He taught me a lot of things and I taught him a lot of things, and it was a really, really good conversation. It made me feel good. Got to bring people together. That's what it's all about. You got to bring people together, and food does that.
I agree with him. If you feed people, you break bread with them, it's an opportunity to have a good conversation and over a meal.
In 2020, we returned the horn to the Stockbridge-Muncie people. It was a powder horn, a utilitarian item to us. But to the Stockbridge-Muncie or Mohican people, the horn had tremendous significance. And we knew that returning the horn to them was the honorable thing to do, the right thing to do. And now that horn resides in their museum with the other items that belong to John Quinney. So we're always engaged in some level with an interdepartmental project.
It's a little difficult to talk about the state of the city without mentioning all the contributions of our employees and our incredible community support that we gain, as well as the leadership of the City Council. And it's with all that I can certainly report to you that in the present, after 2020, the state of the city of Oshkosh is very good. Strong, vibrant, and really prepared much better for a progressive future. And I really believe that because what we've withstood over the past year demonstrates that we can overcome a lot of obstacles, but it also says that we are up to the challenge of so many things that we want to face. And with the guidance of the City Council through our strategic plan, you're going to see some of those things. So let's get into 2021 and things we want to talk about. And what better way to start than how we talk about many things at our strategic planning and our State of the City address is our capital improvement plan. And just a few projects that I want you to be aware of that we're working on for the year. Phase 4 of a 6-year project to redo Oregon Street. This year is going to be the relaying of sanitary sewer. We're kind of out of the mode of the street work, but from 28th Avenue to Waukau Avenue, we're going to be relaying this sanitary sewer in that area. The purpose of that is to get ourselves better capacity so that we can experience some growth in the south end of town. Without the increase in capacity for our sewer, essentially development wouldn't be able to occur out there. So really happy that we're going to be able to do that. Similarly, street projects are still something we have to deal with, and capacity itself. The next street project is West 9th, from Oakwood out to Linden Oaks on the west end of the town. It's increasing our street capacity. It's going to be a 48-foot wide street that's going to include, at least in the short term, bike lanes and parking for the residents so they can continue to enjoy that. Eventually, we may need to go 4 lanes, but we're going to see how that goes. But the idea is build it once correctly so that for the life of the utilities that we're going to be relaying out there, as well as the street themselves, that we're going to be in decent shape. And of course, that's a relatively newer area of town, but we still have to continuing to improve our older neighborhoods. And towards that end, the final phase of construction of CP Avenue from Bowen Street east to the lake. That's both roads and utilities. For those of you on the near north side, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's creating an atmosphere where people can look for their first homes in these areas and know that they're going to have decent streets as well constructed as you'll find in any other area of town. And I think that equity issue is something that council feels very strongly about, and we have to talk about that through our street projects and any of the other capital projects that we do. Speaking of which, as we manage our capital projects, we also have to manage our debt. And the council, with their leadership and with the assistance of our long-range finance committee, we've developed a debt management plan through 2030. What we're trying to do is get our debt capacity down. When I started with the city back in 2008, we were at 84% of our debt cap, which is very high. And with the council's debt management policy that they adopted, we've gotten ourselves down to 60% of our debt capacity, and our goal is to get ourselves to 50% of our debt cap by 2030. The reason we do that is because as rating agencies, and we use Moody's Investor Service to evaluate, we need to demonstrate to them that we have a good handle on our debt. So getting ourselves down to 50% will put us in a position where we can get a better bond rating, which means lower borrowing rates for you, the city taxpayer who ultimately pays the bill. And then, of course, one of the other things the council will continue to be struggling with over this year is what to do with special assessment options. We currently fund part of our capital improvement projects with special assessments. The council has heard from residents that would like us to look for options. The council's considered a few. We're still investigating that, and you're going to hear more about that through 2021. But it's an ongoing discussion, and I encourage you to listen in and voice your concerns about that. With capital projects, we also have to talk a lot about our public facilities. And one of the things that I talk about quite a bit, and I started talking about it at last year's State of the City. If you take a look at a lot of our city buildings that we've had for a while, they're pretty much hand-me-downs from other governmental entities. Now, I would say that just like any good young child in the family, we take care of the hand-me-downs pretty well. But eventually they start showing their age. City Hall itself is the old Oshkosh High School. And our parks building, our field operations facility, needs to get replaced. It's a hand-me-down from the technical college from the 1950s. So that Parks Field Operations Facility, we're looking at constructing that over a 3-year period from 2021 to 2023. And then as we go down through the next 5 years, our Fire Training Center is looking to get built in 2023, 2024. You may have seen there over on Sawyer Street that a training tower was constructed fall of last year. That is just the beginning of that. But part of that is to relocate some storage facilities that have been there for a number of years, particularly for the museum and the police department, traffic division, and as well as just general city storage. Then meanwhile, there are projects here at City Hall, the public museum, the police department, as well as our fire stations. Those projects are not in our 5-year capital improvement plan. Those have all been deferred. And for us to move forward with that, we need to look at ways to improve our public facilities and develop a capital financing plan to get that done. And then one that I'm very excited to talk about is the development of Lakeshore Park. That's the remainder of the former Lakeshore Golf Course. And the first project out of there is a wonderful 4-season shelter building that our Parks Board has looked at and endorsed, and we're just now getting into the design phase. And I encourage you to take a look at what ideas we have, what vision that we've created for that shelter to allow people to maybe have a warming shelter for cross-country skiing in the winter, or in the summer picnicking, or going to picnic after you've done boating, or any of those other things, a family get-together type of picnic. Those are the types of things that we want to be able to provide, not just in the summer, but year-round, because family reunions happen in the winter as well. So I encourage you to take a look at the 4-season shelter and see what exciting things we have planned there. And as we talk about progress, we also need to talk about some of our development plans, because the development that we get in the city helps build our tax base, which then in turn helps lower your property tax costs, because we're able to get the additional development to really serve to spread the cost of our government services around. I'm very excited some of the things going on along the Oshkosh Avenue corridor. You're already seeing the Town Place Suites hotel going up. There's also an office building, restaurant, a credit union, a lot of good things. I know there's a lot of rumors out there about different things. Some of them are true, some of them are just kind of ideas that are out there, but please, keep an eye on those things and take an interest. The council and the Plan Commission have set some relatively high standards from a building standpoint. So I think you've seen some of the buildings already out there. They're maybe a little nicer than, say, your typical convenience store or typical fast food restaurant. If they're going to locate there, we want to put high standards. Similarly, our Southwest Industrial Park. You may recall a few years ago, we developed a transload facility, first publicly owned transload facility in the state of Wisconsin. And the idea behind that is so that businesses can load some of their freight, get it on rail, and it's a lot less expensive to get that done. And we're constructing what's called Compass Way, that will get a circle road that will enable businesses to get to the transload facility, get their stuff unloaded onto the trains and get it out much quicker. So we're really looking forward to that. Residential development remains an issue because there is some good residential growth in the Oshkosh area, but there are limited opportunities within the city limits itself. So we have to be very careful about that. Along with the 9th Avenue reconstruction, we see on the 9th Avenue corridor and the 20th Avenue corridor some great opportunities for single-family housing. We haven't had a lot in recent years. We're getting a little more, as well as multifamily. And with that said, along with residential development is also improving streets in our central city so that first-time home buyers, people who want more reasonable priced housing, have an opportunity to do that. And again, that goes back to capital projects we have to get done. But continuing on the development side, we're so excited about the continued development along Marion Road, the Merge development, the company that is putting in the Oshkosh Food Co-op. It's under construction. It's due to be completed very soon. And that's also addressing a really recognized need in our community. And it's a concept known as a food desert, where accessible, healthy food is not available in a given area of a city. And downtown area, we are in a food desert. And the co-op, and it's local people like you who have invested $180 for a share. You're the answer to the food desert. So I want to thank every one of you who have been involved in the co-op and is going to make that happen. On the other side of the river in the downtown is the Sawdust District. The plan has been developed and now we're in the implementation phase. Our community development staff has put out a request for proposal, an RFP, for the development on the South Shore. That's just east of South Main and north of East 9th Avenue. That will be a catalyst for the Pioneer along with the Pioneer. For the last 12, 13 years, I've been getting asked questions at every state of the city. Pioneer is something we want to make sure is done right. So I would love to tell you it's imminent, and I've come close to saying that a few times. I just ask patience. We are working with every potential prospect to get that done. Right now, building activity is really impacted by the availability of materials, whether you're doing a simple addition onto your house or a rehabilitation or building a brand new building. Availability of materials is probably the biggest obstacle to development right now. So our job is to make sure that we keep our processes going so that as buildings can get done, we're there to make sure it happens. And then there's also future planning and future goals that the council has set that I really think we need to talk about. Of course, continuing our COVID-19 response, working very closely with our Winnebago County Public Health Department. About 9 years ago, we merged our departments, and I think that was the right thing to do because we have a centralized location to address public health issues. And I know that's been controversial and everything, but working together with County Health, we've been able to address the issue. They take the lead on public health, but we know that service delivery is going to continue to be impacted until the vaccine is widespread. And certainly I encourage people to get their vaccine, but also encourage others and continuing to do everything we need to do. But meanwhile, the council has set some other ambitious goals for the year, which I think are doable and things that I think recognize that we're moving on from just addressing some very worthwhile goals like infrastructure and financial stability, but also some of the other issues. And one of the issues that council has asked me to take a look at is homelessness. And what really involves is what is called a continuum of service, from the services that are provided by the day-by-day warming shelter for just acute, urgent, overnight needs, to getting people to be independent living on their own, in their own place that they rent or own. The city's role in that is really, coordinating a lot of things, making sure that any resources that we do have are appropriately added to whatever equation gets in there. I want to thank the Day-by-Day Warming Shelter for everything they've done. Our community foundation has been working very closely with a group called COTS out of the Appleton area, and they've created transitional housing for people who are ready to move past the day-by-day type of operation. And we're going to be working closely with them, looking for solutions. And the city's role, it's making sure that we're there so that if there is an appropriate role, whether that's regulatory-wise or financially-wise, we're going to be there. And that kind of blends into equity and inclusion, which is something that council has also set as a goal. It was added to our 2021-2022 strategic plan, and the council has specifically asked me to work with our departments on developing some goals related to diversity and inclusion, as well as measures so we can demonstrate that we're making progress. I think that's achievable. I think it's worthwhile, and I look forward to working with our departments and our community to make sure that's done. And with that said, I want to thank the council and credit them for their leadership in creating a diversity, equity, and inclusion committee to give us some citizen guidance. A much more diverse group of people than any of our boards and commissions have ever been. I look forward to working with them. They're working on a diversity, equity, and inclusion strategic plan, and I can't wait to see the end results, and then them assisting us in developing some goals and measures. And then I mentioned earlier facility needs. Our hand-me-downs from so many places. we need those replaced. Certainly the fire training center is the next goal past the Parks Operations Building. And then different departments are going to get relocated as the training center gets built, including an impound lot and storage for our police department. Then finally, one of the things the council's asked me to work on is a program that's at the state level known as the Municipal Services Payment Program. This is to reimburse the city for costs we incur for tax-exempt properties owned by the state. And quite frankly, we are getting the short end of the stick on that. The state is only reimbursing us for about a third of the costs that they should be doing, and we're getting shorted about $2 million annually. Where does that money come from? It comes directly from you, the city taxpayer. All of us paying our property taxes, we're getting shorted nearly $2 million on an annual basis, and we think we need to return some fairness to that. So the council's asked me to work closely with that, and we're making our state legislators aware of that as well. And I think they know that this is something that needs to get restored from a fairness standpoint. So those are the goals that we have for 2021. As I said, and I'm very proud to say, the state of our city is strong, and I am so looking forward to the future, working with you, the public, our wonderful employees, the leadership of our city council, and boards and commissions to get that done. And with that, I want to thank you for listening tonight. And at this point, I want to turn it back to Mayor Palmeri and our Common Council and thank them for their leadership. And now they will be presenting our Community Partnership Awards.
Thank you, Mark. The Community Partnership Award is presented by the City of Oshkosh to an entity or individual who makes an outstanding contribution to advance the quality of life in Oshkosh. Tonight, we have 3 awards to present. To present the first one, I'm pleased to introduce Council members Bob Heschel and Matt Mugerauer.
The COVID-19 pandemic has made social isolation a greater danger, causing physical and mental health risks. With the Senior Center being able to offer this program, especially at this time, participants are receiving a vital lifeline to enhance their quality of life and develop social relationships.
Programs like Connect Through Tech require a great deal of community support, and many organizations have stepped forward to make the program possible. Some of those partners include Oshkosh Healthy Neighborhoods, the Aging and Disability Resource Center of Winnebago County, the Oshkosh Herald newspaper, and the Friends of the Oshkosh Senior Center. The program would also not be possible without its funder, Bader Philanthropies Incorporated. We are pleased to present this Community Partner Award to Bader Philanthropies. Congratulations.
Hello, and thank you for allowing us to be part of this celebration. Bader Philanthropies is honored to receive the Community Partner Award, and we are truly humbled by this recognition. My name is Helen Ramon, and I serve as the Senior Program Officer at the Foundation, and I have the opportunity of working directly with the Connecting Through Tech project. It is a true public-private partnership involving people, both young and old, who are blending humanity and technology to ensure that older adults remain connected during these very difficult times and into the future. We are grateful for the leadership of the City of Oshkosh, UW Oshkosh, Oshkosh Senior Center, who has taken a major initiative in this project, Oshkosh Healthy Neighborhoods Association, and the Winnebago Aging and Disabilities Resource Center, who are working together to make this possible on the ground in the Oshkosh area. For nearly 3 decades, Bader Philanthropy has been committed to enhancing the health and well-being of older adults, especially in rural communities. So on behalf of the Bader Philanthropy Board of Directors and its staff, thank you very much for this incredible honor. We are truly appreciative.
Perhaps the best way to learn about a program is to hear from someone who is involved with it. Here are a few words from a Connect Through Tech participant and a program instructor.
This gave me the opportunity to do it one-on-one at my pace, and I've learned so much. They're willing to go at your speed, they're happy, they bring vitality to you, and they want you to learn.
Come in and see us for a tech appointment. We would love to work with you, and we will do whatever it takes to make you comfortable and have a good time while you're here.
To present the second Community Partnership Award, I'm pleased to introduce Council members Deb Allison Osby and Mike Ford.
The Love Oshkosh campaign started as a result of community leaders coming together to talk about what we could do as a community to help combat COVID-19 pandemic and high rates of positive cases in our community. The Oshkosh Convention and Visitors Bureau wanted the campaign to be optimistic, with the goal being to encourage supporting local businesses while being safe. A multimedia approach was taken to get the word out to the public, including the creation of Love Oshkosh, Facebook and Instagram pages. There also continues to be a broad base of support from local business and the community, including incentive campaigns where patrons are rewarded for collecting receipts from Oshkosh businesses.
Sponsors came on board, including Fort Imprint, that provided Stay Safe, Love Local masks and stickers. Local photographer Jim Kepnick created a series of photos of local leaders and community members with masks and a statement of why they wear them. Their photos are being shared on social media. Blue Door Consulting helped create a series of videos featuring local business owners following safe protocols and encouraging the community to stay safe and love local. The campaign has generated a lot of energy, and many have stepped up during this difficult time to keep our community moving forward while staying safe. For all of her efforts to launch and carry out the Love Oshkosh campaign, we're very pleased to present this Community Partner Award to Amy Albright of the Oshkosh Convention and Visitors Bureau. Congratulations, Amy.
Thank you so much for this award. It means so much to me and to our organization to have been asked to be involved in this project. Love Oshkosh has been so well received, and I think really provided a turning point for us in our community as far as the COVID numbers went. During a pandemic, it's very hard to find the positives, but I was thrilled to be part of something that was positive in a time that was very tough on our city and our businesses. The Love Oshkosh campaign will go on, and I think the support for local businesses is something that will be a positive that comes out of this pandemic. Thanks to the City Council for embracing this idea and for our community for coming along for the ride. On behalf of Visit Oshkosh, our Board of Directors, and our staff, we are so grateful for this award, and thank you for awarding it to us.
Finally, to present the third Community Partnership Award, I'm pleased to introduce Deputy Mayor Jake Krause and Councilmember Lindsay Erickson.
We know that we must use care when navigating roundabouts. That's especially true when navigating them as a pedestrian. That's why the Aging and Disability Resource Center of Winnebago County worked with the City of Oshkosh Transportation Department. The ADRC was able to provide rectangular, rapidly flashing beacons by the roundabout at the intersection of 9th Avenue and Washburn Street to aid pedestrians when crossing.
Based on feedback from clients of the ADRC and the need for pedestrian assistance at that intersection, the ADRC was able to direct approximately $28,000 of funding to purchase the equipment needed to install the safety beacons. The City of Oshkosh was able to provide installation of them. Thanks to partnerships like these, Oshkosh residents are able to use pedestrian crossings at roundabouts with increased visibility and safety. We acknowledge the work of the Aging and Disability Resource Center of Winnebago County by presenting them with one of this year's Community Partnership Awards. Accepting the award is Beth Roberts. Congratulations.
The voice of people with disabilities in our community is not always well heard, so this was a great way for us to listen to some of the needs of people and respond to them in a collaborative way. There are people with physical disabilities or just walk slower, kids on bikes, a lot of people that would benefit from the flashing lights at that particular roundabout, and it was a great experience collaborating with the city to make that happen and meet that need. And I just want to thank people for the recognition of what it took to make that happen. So thank you.
Now it's time to recognize citizens who have achieved significant milestones this year for their service on our boards and commissions. While we are spotlighting 12 people tonight, we'd like to thank all citizens who serve on the city's boards and commissions. Whether you've dedicated your time for 1 year, 2 years, or 20 years, what you do is truly appreciated and helps our council to make better decisions. Without them, we could not do our job. So again, thank you. Those who receive awards this year will each receive an award plaque that they may pick up from the city manager's office at City Hall. Here are our Citizen Service Award recipients this year. Reaching their 5-year milestone are, from the Library Board, David Ramond; from the Long Range Finance Committee, Karen Bowen; from the Public Museum Board, Randy Domer and Gabriel Laucona; reaching their 10-year milestone from the Bid Board, Sandra Prunty; and from the Board of Zoning Appeals, Robert Krasnewski; from the Sustainability Advisory Board, Michelle Bogdan-Mutzel; reaching their 15-year milestone from the Redevelopment Authority, Steve Hintz and Archie Stam; and reaching their 20-year milestone from the Bid Board, that's the Business Improvement District, James Staple; and from the Police and Fire Commission, Dr. David Jones. We're always looking for more members of the community to get involved on our boards and commissions. If anyone is watching is interested in joining a board or commission, you can just log on to the city's website and apply online. Now, I would like to introduce Jessica Benish, President of the Oshkosh Rotary Southwest, to present the Environmental Leadership Award.
Thank you, Mayor Palmeri. Danny Stoley is a lifelong resident of Oshkosh, a graduate of Oshkosh North and UWO. Her passion is helping Oshkosh become an environmentally friendly community. Danny is one of the founders and the first and only executive director of Growing Oshkosh. With her leadership, Growing Oshkosh works to build awareness of foods and flowers we can grow for ourselves in teaching us the importance of using sustainable, environmentally supportive practices to raise and market healthy foods. With the help of teachers, students, and volunteers, Growing Oshkosh builds and maintains gardens at every school in the Oshkosh Area School District. Growing Oshkosh also has partnerships with the Boys and Girls Club of Oshkosh, the Christine Ann Center, and the Winnebago County Housing Authority to give individuals gardens to plant and learn how to cultivate homegrown crops. With these accomplishments, Danny's work at UWO helped form the campus's nationally recognized campus sustainability program. We are pleased to present this year's Environmental Leadership Award to Danny Stoley.
Well, thank you, Jessica. This is really an honor for me to win the Environmental Leadership Award. I have a strong passion for all things environmental and all things sustainability. And as Jessica mentioned, I'm a lifelong resident and I've been hugging trees since the time I could first stand. So I've always wanted to make my community a better place. And with our school garden program and our Hope Garden program, we're really starting to make an impact, especially on the health and wellness of our youth. So it's really been a labor of love. No one gets rich being a farmer or a gardener, but I truly enjoy every aspect of my work, and I'm really so happy that you decided to give it to me this year. And really it's to Growing Oshkosh. And I couldn't do this without my wonderful board of directors and all of our volunteers, our donors, and our partnerships with local organizations. So I'm really excited to get going this spring. Again, thank you very, very much, and let's get planting.
Thank you, Danny. Your work with our community is truly inspiring. You're not only an environmental leader, you're also a mentor, an example for all of us who want to improve our city and the lives of its residents for future generations. Congratulations. Now I'd like to honor some exciting achievements in Oshkosh neighborhoods. Neighborhood associations continue to grow in Oshkosh. As people acknowledge the benefits of knowing and working with their neighbors, neighborhood associations help foster a spirit of community by connecting residents to collaborate, in strengthening the neighborhood fabric that they call home. I'm pleased to recognize the historic Fourth Ward Neighborhood Association as the newest neighborhood association in Oshkosh. I'd also like to present the Neighborhood Association Volunteerism Recognition Award. For their efforts in distribution of welcome bags, we'd like to recognize the Midtown Neighborhood Association. Congratulations! Your work with the city and Oshkosh Healthy Neighborhoods in the pursuit of creating healthy neighborhoods of choice in our community is invaluable. We look forward to a future of continued cooperation and success. So that concludes our 2021 State of the City Address and Awards presentation. Thank you again to everyone who helped make tonight possible. All those people who were kind enough to provide us with some comments for the presentation, and especially to you for joining us for this virtual event. And for a few closing comments, here once again is City Manager Mark Rohloff.
Well, thank you again, Mayor Palmeri. As you can see, we had a great deal of community partnerships this year that made so many things successful for us. A lot of these folks were, like our city employees, working behind the scenes, continuing to want to make Oshkosh better. And our boards and commissioners, the people who have given us so many years of service, I want to thank them and the council's leadership, and on behalf of all the city employees and the city council, I want to thank you for making 2020 as successful as it was, even in spite of all the challenges we had to overcome. And then, of course, looking forward to a very successful 2021 in which we'll be continuing to partner with you, hopefully a little more face-to-face, to get some great things done for the city of Oshkosh in 2021 and in the years ahead. Thank you for joining us today, and I wish you the best for you and your family.